Yeah, so in this video I will show you how to build this 3x3 Hipster door, which opens in 2.15 seconds. This makes it the smallest of the speed. Yeah, no, it is the fact that it is only 630 blocks big is what makes it the smallest of the speed. Now it is 7 high, 9 deep, and 10 wide. At least yeah, I'm not losing my mind. I'm really sorry. This will be a bit chaotic. But yeah, let me just show it to you first. Yeah, pretty cool door. Now, I also hate this door. I mean, not the door. The whole door is fine. Don't get me wrong. What I hate is this door. The tutorial aspect. I wanted to make a tutorial. I recorded it, and then realized in the recording, like when watching it back and like combining it and edit, blah blah, I had muted my microphone for the entire recording, so I had to redo it. So I started redoing it just a moment ago, and the door for some reason decided to shit itself and just broke completely. And I was like, what? That's not happened before? Yeah. But it should be fine now. Yeah, 630 blocks big, 9 deep, 10 wide, 7 deep hole, including the floor, so like 6 under. Now, we will need quite a few materials for the door. This is the floor, but also like the few blocks here in the storage. Those are these. For wiring, this is the color-coded version, but you just need 61 solid blocks. This is color-coded, but transparent is just 24. 2 shape updaters, and 4 sand, but this is also color-coded. So, for this, yeah, just this. I mean, like these can be also powered rail, but these two have to be powered rail, while like these can be either powered or activated rails. And on top of that, yeah, there's like the rest pretty easy. We need 2 water buckets, 3 items, and this for the temporary setup plus some support blocks, which like can just be something like this. This is for the boat setups. Talking about, I completely forgot to put in the boats here. I hate my life. Okay, because I'm not gonna redo this again, so let me just so we need 2 furnace carts, then we need 2 normal and carts and 2 woods. I mean, these can also be normal, but I just any cart that does not like need to be a certain cart, I just put a furnace cart there for ease of remembering. Great. Also, you need a lever to input the thing. Yeah, I hope that at least that should be obvious. Okay, you're gonna go to the back left corner, go 1, 2, 3, 4, in, then 1, 2, 3, 4 in, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So like we have a 4x4 cube kind of. And that's where the bottom of the extender, so we can remove all of this now. Place the extender, and this means that the door will be right here. So 3 in the back, 3 on this side, 3, 4, so 5 in the front, and 4 on this side. Makes sense. Yeah. So we're gonna have observers right here, and you're gonna fold these, and in fact right now we are in this position. Then we will have blocks right here for the observer support, then we will have fill this in, so, and then go all the way to the front, place a row of sticky pistons, then 1 space, and bang. That's the layout. Now for the inputs, they are quite not fun. We have 2 glass right here, 3 blocks like so. I'm gonna put the dust down here and another dust target like so. Then you're gonna have a row of targets right here for this input, and this needs to be transparent. And then we're gonna have a row here, and you'd think that, okay, we just have this. No, we don't. We have this for reasons, which is we have and for this we can't have like dust here for obvious reasons. So we have, and also so that's a problem. But we how do we make this? And this is quite an interesting thing. So we're gonna have this like so, and this seems locational, but actually due to some update weirdness, this is fully reliable as long as you pull it from here. If you pull it from here, then you can't be sure. So we're just gonna have 1 over, so normal block 3, boom. So some of these will get replaced later, just so you know. Then we're gonna have a row of targets right here, so we have a solid block, and this one will be replaced. This one is like transparent. Then we're gonna have the row of blocks right here. Grab the rails and put observers right here. Those are all the inputs except for one slider, which we have here. We have an observer facing like this. Yeah, like the observer here and one like this. If you replace this first, then well, this happens, and just replace it. The normal piston right here. Yeah, it's normal piston. Observer like so and like so. One space for the slider. Now this will power this target block via this dust. Now we also need to update this, and we need to have that. Now we usually you'd have this, but obviously this isn't seamless, so we have the thing here. It gets updated by this dust, and then powers this. So pretty nice. So let's grab some red wool. This is the input. Like so, and I'm just gonna place both the wraps. Like so, but we don't really need this wrap for closing, which is the first thing we're wiring. So I'll just leave it like that for now. Like this, then we're gonna get some glass here. Actually, this, you know what, I will place it right now because reasons. No, do we need to? No, actually, I'm not gonna. So this will be a cover up later, but we will get there when we place the entities. Just like so. Now this is the input line that we need for this side. So the first thing you need to do is you need to rotate this. And for that we're gonna just attack from here. It's not the greatest means it has input delay, but I really don't care about input delay on closing, or about closing in general. So yeah, and we will update this with this. And obviously, like this ends up on the top, and we need to have it return to the bottom. So we're gonna put a wrap here. But oh, this disconnects from there. That's not good. Okay, so great. We these are tick up, so we know like free game tick this, and that also will power this. Now, problem is this actually will get updated from here, from this piston. Like if you look at this, this piston will get powered and updated instantly from this. But depending on how this actually has too much bed. So what is gonna happen here? So we're gonna place a piston here and this. And now we're gonna do the free game tick. We're gonna have a normal piston here. Server. Iron chapter. And just grab some settling. And then we're gonna get two observers like so, and this will be lime. Pretty nice. Now we can, because like the free game tick happened, we can now move these in. And we're gonna do this via this thing moving up. That's also how like we have the mouse table. Now we need to repower this, and this is probably the weirdest thing because we need to unpower instantly. So we move this in. but we just power this very late via copper bulb, and we unpowering very soon. So this gets done from here, where we're gonna put in a log, leaf. So we need a thing, this. So, and this should be everything. Let's see, this is pretty nice. Now, this is where the first cut is, and I will see you in the next clip because this door is pissing me off. I'm so sorry. I really wanted like to accept that, but like this is just some very normal timings. And the really interesting part, and that's the one I will explain a bit more in depth, is what's gonna come next. Alright, so I'm back now with the next part. So the next part is a bit more convoluted. There are more things to do wrong. I mean, like this is rather easy to debug, but here a wrong piston placement could really be bad. So we're gonna have one glass, and then we're gonna get a lamp, observer, and a repeat on top of that with a like so. And this is the clock starting thing. So this is 2 game ticks, retracting, 1 game tick extra, and with this setup, yeah, pretty sweet. Could probably do something. Actually, let's see. Yeah, no, you can't. There's a reason why. Things. Anyway, so we have the clock right here. We will not put a locking piston right here. So, very nice. Then the clock will get powered from this corner. Updated from here. Now we have 4 diagonal blocks like so. And we have a normal block here, glass here. Swap it right here with piston glass like so. This glass will get replaced. And this will update this branching dust. Because otherwise this branching from the dust that updates this is allocational. But this makes it so that even when this doesn't get updated and when this power is the rail updates this to also turn on, which is quite a neat trick. So now we're gonna get the concrete powder like so. We can have some glass right here, and pretty nice. Then we have glass like so, and boom. Now this is the very convoluted part, and I hope that my bracelets will not make me regret explaining this in detail. So we need a lot of block and delay for this. Like you'd think that this is enough, but because if we power this like that, with this is actually locational, so this won't always extend. And well, the middle one will always extend, slash like with block and delay. So what we do is we update these, and now we need like a base. Essentially, it's like similar to how, let's say, we like from this line, and we want to QC this piston, and we're updating this piston, which gets updated from this piston, which gets updated from this. So we need like the enough block and delay to power that, and that's why we need re-updater. So actually, how this will work is we have a target here, a piston here, here, and here. But if you are smart, then you will see that this is locational. Now that's because it depends if this test turns off before this does. Now, how can we prevent that from happening? How can we make this reliable? And this is probably, like the fact that I thought about this, I'm still pretty proud of that. Because it also actually works as a rail here. Which seems like it shouldn't do anything, because usually when you're in a scenario where I want to see if I'm lucky enough to find one immediately. Yeah. Okay, need this here. Great. You see, yeah, things. Now, even if we have no blocks in these two corners, nothing changes. Like this, the one would need to update it. But that really doesn't happen here. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. But basically, like this would only, like let's say if this was a null block instead, somehow, like this was a null block. I think this is a better way of explaining it. This node block would update it, but it would only update this when this turns off, and that could still be affected when this turns off. This is still on. So long story, that just wouldn't do anything. Now here, this actually, when this turns off, this sends out updates, like neighboring updates, cause Rail updates all of these blocks first. So it just calls like a function like execute neighbor updates. I don't know if that's like, I forgot the name, but it just like updates all of these blocks, and then after that has executed, it calls another function, and that's updating this. So basically this will update this, and the dust will like, oh yeah, sure, I need to turn off, and it turns off. And after that, all things processed, it updates this piston again, and that works out. And let me see actually if I can quickly find that, because I had DoorMaker look into the code for me, because I just wanted to make absolutely sure. So here you can here see here world update neighbor pause this, and then pause down. So like first there's the thing, and then like the neighboring updates, and then the update below. So this actually is what's pretty interesting in my opinion. So yeah, this is actually bug fix. So now what we have done so far is kind of the classic. I will just build the entire setup quickly, because otherwise this explanation is kind of hard to follow. So we clock this input, we clock this input, and we clock this input, which doesn't seem like it should make sense, but it does, trust me. So basically, move 1, we do this, and then move 2, this, we just retract this, and with this, when this retracts, this is also doing stuff. But because this is retracting, this gets blocked, and because this is retracting and this is my blocker delay, this happens first. Next move, this happens, the 0 ticks, and these two 0 tick up. Next thing, this gets retracted, and this retracts, but or like it extends retracts, but doesn't do anything. It does this block does that way, and yeah, the way like this gets actually blocked, I will explain it later when we get to there, because it's not as easy as just do. So then like how this happens, because usually this would happen at the same time, but it doesn't, and like so this gets moved up, and then the next one this actually QCs, and so the 0 checks. Then we do this, and then we do this, and then here we block this actually, so that we 0 ticks this up. And the reason why this is important is we retract this, so we have like quite a bit of blocker delay, and it's just easier to chain that. So we do this, and then this also does things, and yeah, I will explain later how all like, because it's not just, you can't just clock it and everything does itself. You need to like have quite a few control poses around. But what I'm saying is we need to hook this up to the chain, and we need quite a bit of blocker delay here. Let me get some thing, because if I were to hook up this is actually locational. Location is not good. We're gonna have this scenario. Wait, does this also hook up there? How did I never see this? Anyway, this is way too late to, yeah. Sometimes I understand things about my own doors way too late. With this wrap, and with this wrap, but this obviously is QC, so we updated via this activator rail, and it just does its thing. So this is the setup. However, the boat, so much boat. So I will quickly explain. This is where we're gonna use like the temporary shit, because the items we need to like some shit temporary. Actually, let's start with this. This is the easiest one. So we're gonna place a block right here, rail, and we're gonna get a normal furnace cut. And we're gonna break the rail, place it here, break this, then place the boat on this corner, break this end, put it here, then break the thing. And we're gonna block this from getting moved up. Now this zero trick thing wouldn't do it, but there's other things around here that would actually move it up, so that's why that's necessary. Next one, this is the nice, and here we're gonna grab a copper bulb. You can remove this. Copper bulb right here, remove this. Do like so. And I'm gonna put this here, flower pot right here. Now we're gonna place the bolt on this side, minecart on this side. Just power this. This runs against there. Gonna put a piston on here, move this up. And then we can remove the flower pot. And this. And replace this and put this here. Pretty nice so far. The final thing, it's a bit more difficult. We're gonna remove some things here. Gonna put in block. This needs to be transparent as solid. And just move this up like so. Now gonna replace this. Which is pretty nice. And this is will do the clocking part. So this will start the clock, and this is the clock. Now we need to end the clock. And that's again not so easy. I'm still confused about this. I will look into this later, and because in my brain this shouldn't work. Oh well. There, I will understand why it works later, I guess. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna also do the stopping mechanism for the clock, because I think that's just very convenient, even though like the clock will run for ages then. So we're gonna have an observer here with an orange block, and we're gonna put in a sticky piston here with a cauldron on top. Get some water, fill the cauldron, put a thing here, torch here. Then what we're gonna have is we're gonna have an observer right here, right here. Then we're gonna place a block here, and we need to move in with 2 ticks and like so. Then we're gonna have a thing 3 and a 4 tick. Now we're gonna need to put 3 items into here. And that does the clock start and stop. So that's pretty nice. I guess you can try this out now. And I can cry when nothing works. Oh yes, this is a mistake I did, made the last time I did the tutorial also. So we're gonna reset the clock, and this needs to be a transparent block. I think this actually doesn't matter if it's transparent or not, but this one needs to be transparent so that this 2 tick doesn't travel downwards. Makes a whole lot of sense. So we're gonna just reset this. What the hell? Okay, so I'm back with the next part, and the mistake that I made was really stupid. So we're just gonna grab a transparent block and replace this, and this does the thing. That's all. I was like, yeah, bro, this needs to be transparent so it doesn't mess with this. It makes sense. I'm just kind of stupid. Now, if we power this now, this works nicely. And if we do this, move 1 works nicely. But then after this, it just kind of shits itself. So this is where we're gonna end up now. Because the clock is very useful, but the clock doesn't do everything for you. You still like need to wipe your ass yourself, basically. Which is a very weird thing to say in this case. Excuse me, bro. So this is closing. And opening, we start with this immediately, then at 3 game ticks we do this, and this is correct. And then what we currently do is we zero tick all of these up. And the problem with that is that we can now move this immediately, and then like zero tick this and stuff happens. Basically, I will not even go into the detail of why everything here is bad. Long story short, what we need to do is we zero tick this over and then we long pulse this. The zero tick this up and then we long pulse this. And that allows us like to then, well, this will power and this will get removed again, and then we do this and this will get zero ticked up. But like because this gets removed, like while like when this is still moving, this doesn't do shit, and the self updates, and this again can't push, and then retract this. That's how this works. Now the way we get the long pulse, the thing is it's kind of weird because like if we could just long pulse this then it's fine, but we need to zero tick this in and then long pulse. So we need a long pulse that starts with block and delay. And that seems kind of hard, or at least it did so for me. It's not that bad. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna need to make this transparent as well. And then I have dust right here. And we're gonna cut off this dust by this block, so this will just like we can power this constantly, and when this moves away and uncuts this line, it long powers, but this will only remove itself when this gets power. So this is how, yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Now, we can't just have this spam back and forth. This would be uncontrolled and break itself. So what we have is we have a blocking piston and this, so like that when the thing is here, shit doesn't fuck itself. Yeah. So the way we power, we need to first, I guess, make to get the delay. So we have a 2 tick right here, and this just messes with like this observer. So I guess remove this before that. Then I have a 4 tick here, so we have 6 ticks or 12 game ticks. Now to power this, we have an observer right here, a target, and we're gonna place a piston here, and this piston will give 2 quick outputs and power this block, which we will put a waxed copper bulb under. I mean, it can be any copper bulb. and we're gonna place blocks like so. I'm gonna power this, and if we you can see this unpause for some time. Yeah, that's what this does. So I forgot to reset it. Great. You can see like this moves up slowly, and now this is a movable block. So this doesn't zero tick, but this zero ticks down. Then this moves up, but this retracts, so this can extend again. I mean, it kind of extends and then this gets moved in, but like, you get the idea. And then this self-updates does being scheduled before these. So these can't extend because these extend, and then these remove itself and thus removing the pausers, but also updating it by removing the blocks here. So they zero tick, and then we do this. And I mean, after that, it kind of flips itself again. That's the retraction done. I think that's pretty interesting. So, how do we done this? The next thing we need to do is a bit different. Because if we zero tick this like this and this, then well this extends and then we can't, like, you can move this in, but this is zero ticking, so this would fail. So the way we solve this issue is by zero ticking this and this, and then long powering this. So that at 3 we can just zero tick this like so. This is what we're gonna do now. And for that we will start by putting a piston here, an observer on top, and this is like kind of to only make it on one edge. And then we're gonna place 4 magenta blocks and 2 3 ticks and 1 tick. And you'd think this can be a 4 tick and something like this, but the pulse has to be 3 ticks long, so we can't have a 4 tick here. Now this will also get removed similar to the other versions, or like power, but then get like block ventilate thingies. And I forgot my life. I'll show you after this why, or like what's happening to, like so. You see this moves up slowly, then we zero ticks up, down, so that this zero ticks is out of the way. Pretty nice. And like what you need to make sure is I removed this block. This is why it breaks. Okay, I thought I actually just didn't reset it properly, because then it breaks in a very similar way. Okay, so if it didn't break for you but it broke for me, then that's why. It's just I like the brain cells to function properly. I hate my life. I mean, this also makes sense. Let me show you why this breaks, because otherwise you will cry a lot. As you can see, like, this door is very prone to breaking. So this needs to always be, like, when it's fully opened, it needs to be, this block needs to be in this state. Right now with the spamming it ends up here, and you need to manually fix it. This will change because we will have a clock break and restart the clock. And then like this makes it so that this actually ends up here, but for now this doesn't. So yeah. So let me show you what we need to do next. So we have like a lot of stuff is already done, and that's like why the clock is good. But here the problem is like we zero tick these, and we want to block this so that we can move these up. So we have pistons here that can grab these down. And the way we do this, we need to block. Yeah, we're gonna block this. And we're gonna move this like so. And to power this, we're just gonna go from this with a 3 tick, because this has quite a lot of delay from like these, because this gets hold on from there, which is quite sweet. Now we can also have a lock here, and also you don't need it, so you can just like don't do it. I forgot that like you don't need it, and forgot to remove it in the material list, but you don't need a target here. Yeah, it's kind of unnecessary. Just so you know. Now this will break itself also pretty badly. I am very stupid. That's like what I mean, like this happens all the time, because I keep forgetting to reset this back here to be here. Those are the neighbor's kids. I apologize for loud. You can see this now move up, and this will now break, but that's to be expected, sadly. And again, remove this. So this is all I will do now. The next part is the final part, and as you can see, like we're mostly done. We just need to do a few moves for the final retraction. Problem is, those only few moves, like the powering for that, like how the logic for that is sitting in this corner here, and you can see it's quite empty. As you can see, that's not empty in the final door, so I have quite a bit of stuff to do before I'm finished with everything here. And I can't memorize this and this as well. But as you can see, it's really just like the clock. There's a lot of stuff and you need to do some controlled pulses. But then the door kind of does itself, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. So I will see you in the next part. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a bit of a rambly thing. Okay, so there's a huge chance that even though you follow the tutorial perfectly, your closing doesn't look like it should, but instead it destroys itself. I forgot about that because, well, that's because the setup right now is locational. Now the door in itself, like there's a fix for that is built into the door, so to make it not locational. But I forgot to add that because, well, that situation didn't work there. So, like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a piston here, or a redstone block right here, and this is gonna retract and then block this from interfering. And then we can just put a lamp here. I will explain how to build that, just to show you that this actually fixes it. No, yeah, that's basically the same point that we were at. So, this, and by the way, this is why needs to be like a transparent instant updater, because otherwise, like this could be held on from here. I mean, like it would still update it at 3, I think that wouldn't work out. Pretty sure. So we're gonna replace this with a redstone lamp, and then just observe us to detect this and move this back. And this kind of just holds this off from interfering with things on this side, which can happen. Just kind of circumvents that. So now with the actual next part, we need a toggle here, and that toggle is this piston, because the first thing I will do is we'll power this, and that will kind of explain the next steps a bit clearer. I'm gonna put an observer right here as a toggle, because like when this retracts, it's done. So to power this, we're gonna have a no plug target here. Yeah, so this next part is a bit annoying, so we just gonna put a piston here and a trapdoor. I'm gonna power this and remove those two. because of this bolt clipped into here, we can't place it there directly. Then we're gonna have two target block, two scaffolding. And we need to detect from that, so we're gonna replace those two. And this will be glass, and this is an observer. Just go through down, one over, and this will split this back up, and that's why this is in the top spot. Even in this state. Now to go up, we go up over one. We have a no block here. Observer. Hopper to not point this observer. Remove this, have an observer below this. Hopper, and then we're gonna remove this. And, two observers like so, and replace the dust. Another hopper. Boom. As you can see, things there are a few things that fail. I mean, like, you can ignore this, but the things just don't work out. And the reason for that is that the clock still continues wider, even though the top piston are now in an offset. And the reason why this breaks is because earlier, for some reason, I broke this. So just replace this, and now like this slice also does the same as this, but that like still breaks. So what we need to do now is we need to stop the clock, because it is a bit weird. So we do this. Oh my god, I'm too quick and then do mistakes. So we do this. Long pulls, so take this in. So this, and here in this position we zero take this down, and then one game. So like this gets placed here, and then one game tickle to zero take this. But that means in the next clock cycle this zero takes, but this tries to, but well can't. And that kind of just offsets everything. So what we need to do is we need to stop the clock for this one game tick. So that, I mean, also this retraction, but also like that this like gets retracted together. And for that we will go down here and have an observer, an iron trapdoor, and make sure that iron trapdoor faces here, so that when we have a glass right here, this doesn't mess up. Now we're gonna break these two blocks and place 3 observers, place the vortex and dust. And this needs to be, like, you will see later why this has to be this way. Doesn't seem like it need to be right now, but it will make sense. Here the iron trapdoor doesn't matter, just gonna put in some scaffolding for the right timing and an observer. And that will do the clock break. So that's pretty nice. Now the clock break is correctly, but like because this is like dependent on the frequency clock, and we need to update it a bit earlier than this allows for. Basically, like the clock operates on a frequency cycle, so this will the clock thing will only update like on a frequency based cycle, even if we stop it for a bit. So to make it update between that, we need to have an extra updating piston. I'll quickly just put this here, and to update it manually we'll just have this setup, which is pretty interesting. That now, if we put in some more, we'll update this right here. Okay, this happened because I'm an idiot. So this is pretty nice. These need to be movable. So this is in the right state. It is not. I knew it. But it's still everything. Kind of incredible. Now obviously we can't have movable blocks here. So what we do is we put in a slider. And that slider will get powered from here. So we have an observer here, here, and here. And this will get a hopper. So we're gonna remove this, put a because actually this can be gone for a second. Observer, and then we need an iron trap and to face towards this. Grab another glass and drag this out like so. Don't forget to replace this dust and go one up. This slides this over so that it blocks like the thing moving out, because otherwise what happens now, like this, and then this rotates, and then in this situation it actually would rotate out. It obviously wouldn't be good. So like all this action just is being stopped with this. Now we're gonna return it with this piston, and the way we detect the return is with this. Actually, why are there 2 water buckets? Oh yeah, one for the cauldron. I'm very stupid. Let's go confused for a second. Now, we're in this situation, but we need to move this over, so we have an observer here and here. Then put on a dispenser or thing here, like whatever is left, dispenser drop, I forgot. And then we're gonna go and out snake to this. And this is like this. No, we can't have a piston here, because this piston would also update when this moves, and they are just, it's a bit hard. Maybe there actually is a timing with this that would work, but I'm kind of too lazy to figure it out. Now, just to show you, like this is the door tunnel. I need to make sure to not leak anything now. Isn't this direction? Okay, it is. Because like over there in this direction, yeah, is my secret, my current big project. Also because I got the comment, I actually looked at it. This door is by on, and it's technically smaller. I mean, like I just made because the boat setup that they used doesn't work in the current version, so I'm putting different boats. The only problem with this is actually, as you can see, like it has quite a bit of input delay, and that's why mine is faster, because it doesn't have input delay. Now, let me find the setup. Because there was somewhere a version that I had around here that was not with the old setup. Yeah, I think this is it. So let me see if this actually works. I didn't have a copy of this thing somewhere. Maybe in the log testing area. Oh, here, this is the thing. What you can see here, this happens way earlier. Now, why is this not the setup I use? The problem is this relies on, because so we retract these pistons, like this entire stack of pistons from this dust input, and what this relies on is that these, like, it doesn't really matter in which order these two get placed, but that this piston gets placed last, just updating this piston, because otherwise it can't extend. And that's a bit aids. But if you're one of the lucky ones, you can just, instead of having the thing from here, you can directly go from this input to over, and then you can also have a node block here, and a thing directly over, up, over, and then you need this glass and over. Like, I think this makes sense. Let me actually just break it and showcase the snake once. So basically, like, this would be like a thing right here and like a glass pane there. So we're gonna have 2, and then 1, 2, go over 1, and that's locational. We have the same setup here. I think this is actually one of the versions that the setup didn't work. See, shit doesn't work. Yeah, so that's the story of that. Yeah, I'm sorry that this was a bit more chaotic than usually. I will like append a clip from a previous attempt of my recording of this tutorial because I think it's funny. In hindsight, yeah, this door was really close to a tutorial for, but I hope this is good enough. I mean, like, the door isn't super complicated, so there isn't much to explain. Just have a smart clock setup. And if I explain how you can find these clock setups, then that would be a totally different video. Besides, this is kind of like very, like, this setup and clock thing isn't that new. So yeah. Regardless, thanks for watching, thanks for being so patient, because I'm a bit late with this tutorial. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one and see ya.